The mission statement for the grind is to create a community that gives 100% and then some through fitness, sport, and life. What's up, guys? Welcome back to The Grind. If this is your first time tuning in, thank you for watching my YouTube channel. It is Saturday morning, February 22nd, 2025. It's been a great morning so far. Woke up, hopped on the bike, did a 45-minute effort, tried to maintain my pace around a 155 per 1,000 meter split, and really just trying to maintain. My glasses are fogging up. I think I'm still hot from the shower, but really trying to maintain as much cardiovascular conditioning, aerobic conditioning as possible, as I have had to transition away from my endurance journey or my endurance season and pull out of a couple of races due to an Achilles injury. If you're not familiar with what the Achilles is, it's a major tendon in the lower extremity that connects the gastroc and upper quarter of the lower extremity to the ankle joint and to the foot. So without a functional Achilles, the foot and ankle cannot properly plantar flex, which means that you cannot generate force through the ground, and it will, inhibit your ability to press off of the ground, to walk appropriately, and it just completely disrupts your biomechanics through the gait cycle. Historically, in this situation, and if I've shared, parts of my past with you all, I would just continue forward and continue to train as I normally would. In my, past career, being an Army Ranger, being a special operations tactical athlete, I always would find a way to continue moving. And when I got this injury, I called a buddy of mine who I served with in 3rd Ranger Battalion, and we kind of talked about my history with injuries. And we talked about a operation one night, a training operation, where it was an airborne operation, and we're jumping on to this DZ in preparation for test night or operation night. And I jump out of the airplane, get my 6-second count. I'm in full combat gear, night jump, and I jump out, get my 6 count. I look up, and my parachute is in a canoe or a cigarette roll. And through training, we know that when that happens, you need to pull your reserve immediately. Being the strong ranger that I am, I wanted to try my best to deploy my main as quickly as possible before I imploded into the ground. So about 2 seconds pass, I'm fighting my lines, trying to get it to fully deploy, and I look to my left and to my right, and I don't see any other Rangers in the sky, which means that I am falling really fast, right? At that time, it was like, okay, do I pull my reserve, or am I, gonna ride this thing in? Am I gonna burn in? And in the Ranger Regiment, in most airborne communities, you're kind of made fun of if you pull your reserve. And I did not want to pull it. I wanted to deploy my main and ride it in. But I made the ultimate decision to pull my reserve to preserve my life. And when I pulled my reserve, I grabbed my risers, pulled them in, and immediately smacked the ground. And that impact didn't affect me until later. It was I let out a huge yell on the drop zone, and they continued moving on. We ended up doing about an 8-mile movement that night, and then I go and see my PT, and he's like, "Dude, you're jacked up. You know, you are totally jacked up, and you do not need to jump again this next night." But I'm a platoon leader. I'm a Ranger platoon leader, and I wanted to be out there with my guys. So the very next night, I jump again into mission night and spend the next 7 days in the field with a jacked up hip, a torn meniscus, a torn MCL, and it was just a situation where I had to learn that lesson for myself. But at the same time, there comes a point where you have to make the decision to go further while the mission is going on. Reflecting on that injury that, quite frankly, I believe is the reason why I had a future hip dislocation and a torn labrum that hindered me for several years. But the lesson I learned is that it is okay to go 100% and then some. It is okay to go as far as you can and complete the mission. And it's also okay to think with logic and think about the long term and know when to pull out of a battle that could hinder your ability to fight future battles. And now, as a doctor of physical therapy, as somebody in, the medical space at a professional level, I have to act and behave in the way that I would want my patients to. If I had a young college athlete or high school athlete that tore their Achilles or had a grade 1 strain of their Achilles, I would advocate and educate them on the potential consequences of continuing to play sport on a disrupted or inflamed ligament or muscle, right? Or tendon. And for me, it's a huge moment of growth to make the decision to pull out of the Cowtown half marathon and kind of pivot into other forms of training that allows me to continue to go further without disrupting my body's natural healing process. So with all that being said, I have not ran since the hot chocolate 10K, and that is the race that really exposed my injury. And now I'm positioned to transition into a Achilles rehab process. I'm focusing on stability and allowing the inflammation to come down while strengthening and then improving mobility until I can start putting miles in on the road. So that's the current mission. That's what we're moving towards. I haven't done CrossFit since the injury as well. I've mostly been doing bodybuilding style workouts, but for cardio, I have the 3 major beasts at the house. I have the Concept 2 rower, I have the Concept 2 ski erg, and I have the Concept 2 bike erg. So 3 ergonomic machines that I'm using to supplement my aerobic capacity and my aerobic conditioning. That's gonna allow me to step back onto the road with a truly better baseline than not doing any type of cardio at all. So I've upped my creatine to 10 grams a day. I am focusing on nutrition and recovery, mobility, flexibility, and as we incorporate more strength into the program, I'm really excited to see how I return to running once this injury is behind me. So that's kind of where we're at right now. When life hands you lemons, you got to make a margarita. I think that's how they say it, or is it lime? Either way, we got to go further. The grind continues. And today, we already did our morning cardio routine. So we did 45 minutes on the bike erg. Great pace, great workout, quick transition, made breakfast. I've got my coffee here, and you can see I keep that thing on me. Rangers lead the way, and I'm now headed into the city to go see my hairstylist. Gonna get a retwist. That'll take about 3 hours, And then after that, I'm going to meet with one of our brand ambassadors, one of the Grind brand ambassadors, Kai Randall Smith, at Sanders Fit in Southside Lamar, and get a workout in with him. So great day. We've got a long list of things to accomplish, from business stuff. I want to talk about the rehab process and provide some insights and value into how, if you're struggling with an Achilles injury, things and interventions you can use to improve or expedite, in a way, the recovery process. So let's get into it. What's up? How you doing? I'm making a YouTube video today, so if you don't mind, I'm gonna
that's what's up.
set it up
You
real
gonna tag me
quick.
in it?
Oh yeah, no, I got you.
Oh wow.
You doing all right?
Well, God is in control because I gotta put my hair and makeup on.
He must have known.
Yeah, I used to be looking like who did it what for. You didn't give me a heads up. You was just gonna let me look like how I looked last time you seen me.
I mean,
That's
you
crazy.
on though. So God must have told you.
God did that.
God must have told you.
Look, come keep my hair done with me.
Right. Well, it's like, you know, the brand's been growing and stuff, so I gotta like start showing the real life stuff. You know,
Yeah,
like day-to-day type stuff. I want people just to see the highlights.
Right. Behind the scenes.
Okay guys, we are back at the house. It's been a super long day between the morning cardio session, getting my hair done, so sitting in a chair for 3.5 hours, workout with Kai at Centers Fit, great WOD this morning. So busy day, just made it back to the house, ate some lunch, and what I really want to talk about in today's video and something I've been dealing with over the past several weeks is how to address a low-grade Achilles injury. And this is anything up to a rupture or some form of rupture that prohibits you or hinders your ability to weight bear through that heel, through that Achilles gastrosoleus complex. So I'm going to talk about a couple different exercises, some gross anatomy about the Achilles tendon and what it does in terms of action in the lower extremity. Okay, so the Achilles tendon attaches at the distal portion of the gastrosoleus complex and bleeds through the posterior chain onto the calcaneal head at the bottom of your heel. So its main action is to enable someone to do plantar flexion at the ankle. So that is pointing your toes downward, right? So without a functioning Achilles, or if you have Achilles that is hyperinflamed or has some type of structural deficit, it will hinder your ability to walk, run, weight bear, and really activate the posterior chain through the hip, knee, and gastrosoleus complex. So it's a very serious injury. It's a really tough recovery process. If you've torn an Achilles before, then you know you're looking at about a year to a year and a half of total rehab before you can start doing return to sport style activities. I'm going to show you 3 different exercises that I'm doing right now as part of my Achilles rehab. I have a grade 1 to 2 strain, not as serious as a rupture, but I'm in that space where it could, secondary to the strain, I could, acquire some form of tendinopathy or tendinitis in the Achilles tendon. It's very susceptible to overuse injuries. If you're an endurance runner, a power sport athlete, sprinter, you know how important it is to limit inflammation and limit overuse injuries that could take place at the knee, happens a lot at the hip and the quad, but then also in the Achilles and kind of the plantar side of the foot, dorsal side of the foot with plantar fasciitis. Okay, so equipment you're gonna need for these exercises. You need a lacrosse ball. You're gonna need some type of enclosed band. This is a Rogue green TheraBand. And then either or, pick a color. I'm gonna use blue today, but just a standard blue resistance TheraBand. All right, so I'm gonna show you 3 exercises that you can do today if you're dealing with some type of Achilles tendinopathy or hyperinflammation, okay? Okay guys, for this next exercise or intervention, what we're gonna be doing is a dorsiflexion stretch. Dorsiflexion is bringing the toes towards the shin. So all you're gonna do is anchor a band and place it around the affected limb, and we're just gonna drive the foot in the opposite direction. Same type of motion, we wanna hold for 3 to 5 seconds, really get an isometric contraction, and then control it down back to neutral. And the same reps, I'll do about 30 to 40 of these a day, once or twice a day, and we just wanna get a really deep stretch with some muscular contraction. Okay, for this next exercise, we're gonna be doing a resisted toe raise, okay? So I have this band around the outside of my leg, just proximal to the laterali on both sides. I'm just putting this band here to drive some external rotation and really activate the glutes while I do the toe raise, okay? Same reps, I'll do about 30 to 40 once a day. We're raising up on the toes, controlling back down to neutral, and bringing the heels back to the ground. The last exercise that I do every single day, and I'm very intentional about this exercise because it's one of the most beneficial things that you can do for your foot in general. Okay, whether you're an endurance athlete, a weightlifter, any type of sport or field athlete, this exercise will help improve the mobility of your foot, break up some of that tension underneath the bottom of your foot, and also just improve the flexibility and range of motion of the entire ankle and foot complex. Okay, so all we're gonna do is use a lacrosse ball that you can get from Academy, Dick's Sporting Goods, Amazon. They're a couple bucks, and we're gonna roll out our plantar fascia, all right, that's the distal bottom side of the foot, just to, again, help decrease inflammation and improve mobility. I'm just rolling the foot back and forth. I'll do this for about 2 to 3 minutes on each side. And I also do this before I go on a run, before I lift, before I cycle. And again, it just helps improve the extensibility of the fascia on the bottom of the heel. All right, guys, thank you for watching today's YouTube video. I hope you gained a little bit of knowledge or some tips and tricks that you can use throughout your own Achilles rehab process. It's truly a grind. Do not take it easy or become lazy if you're dealing with an Achilles issue. And overall, great day, great video. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and we'll see you in the next one. The grind continues.